life is like trick or treat, and that's all.
Welcome again to every month to another live streaming about ZBrush for jewelry design. My name is Nacho Riesco, and welcome everybody for being here watching this live, and thank you everybody who is watching this live up to now. So you know that you can reach this live after on the YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. So welcome.
And you will be fine.
And today we will keep working on this design. We started 2 streamings ago. I was talking about this 2 months ago. As I said before, I make regularly and streaming every month. So talking about using ZBrush for jewelry design. So I started the design based on this concept. Gashira design that you can find on the katana swords, which is the design that is put it on the bottom of the handle and in the guard of the sword. So this is the idea, is trying to grab this kind of ornamental element and adapt it on a ring. In this case, a kind of a signet ring or something. This is what we are doing. So you can see here and see this is what we have so far. This is what we got so far. What I was sculpting during my 2 previous streamings. I will keep this open. Change this always on top. Okay. So as I was explaining before, you can see here the references I was gathering about this well-known art from the Japanese swords. There are a lot of motif, the quality of the reliefs on the motif are amazing. So I found this kind of koi fish design, and I decided to adapt it into a jewelry ring, as I said before. As you can see now, the design is not completely the same. I'm not trying to copy exactly the same design because this original size of this piece is much bigger than the final size of a ring. So I was trying to adapt in terms of scale and proportions, trying to grabbing the same idea from the original design, but adapted to the size of a ring. So we are talking about. I was calculating it on the previous stream, and maybe we can say that the ring has for example, this piece is double size of the ring, so we're making things much more smaller. So we should take this during the sculpting process in terms of the detail that we will be able to print, we will be able to cast in metal, and we will be able to finish it. So if not, maybe we will lose a lot of details. So I will try to pay us more attention on the chat. So welcome again everybody. So thanks to all of you who are already posting comments on the chat. Hey Fexter, welcome again as usual, my amigo. Design with AK, welcome Fexter, master of the sculpting universe. Master of the universe. I'm fine, thank you. Hope you are well, you and your family. I are also well. It's my pleasure to be here again. Bad Cat, welcome. The music is a little too loud yet. I tried to put it a little bit louder than before. Tell me now if it is working better now. Let me know. Hey Rodolfo, welcome. Rafael, welcome. Great to watch another one of your Maxon live stream. Thank you very much. Thanks to you to being here watching this live. I already reduced the music volume. I'm sorry for that. Let me tell me now, please, if the music now it's better than before, because I was using the same settings as on the previous streaming, but I tried to put the music a little bit louder, but because it was maybe too much. Let me know. We'll try to reduce here a little bit the volume as well. Maybe like this. Okay. So for the music, it's great. Now it's working. Let me know if it's working the music. Much better now. Okay, I'm sorry for that because I always trying to being a struggle with the settings of OBS, trying to find the right settings for a good balance between my voice and the music, but I didn't find it yet. Okay, looks like can hear you loud. Okay, perfect. So it looks like now the sound is working better, my voice and the music. And I will try to repeat what I said before. So today we will continue with this design. I will try to go as far as possible. I mean, this is going to be the last streaming about this design. So that means that in my next streaming we will start making a completely new design. So let's see how far we can go today. This is I couldn't work on it in my free time since my latest live. So let's see what we can do today. So I will try to answer all of your questions. I'm here not just for streaming what I'm doing, but to help you if I can. If you have any questions related to jewelry design or using ZBrush for jewelry design, and I hope this will be interesting for you. So I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller, and I was thinking about let's see what we can do today. I think we're gonna work on the fish mainly, because I think it's the techniques are going to be more interesting than working on the background. So that means that I will show you different ways to create this kind of scale path, fish scales pattern. That it's very interesting. I'm gonna change the music. See, now it's still my music drawing out my voice, so I already reduce it. Maybe as I am reading your comments with maybe less than 1 minute of delay. Maybe it is already solved. So you were talking about the beginning of the stream that you alright, it was a little bit too loud, but today it should be working. Let me know anyway. I will pay attention to your answer. Like home. Are we people watching on YouTube? Okay. Total. Okay, so let's. As I was saying before, I will start working on the scales. I will show you maybe 3 different ways of creating this. That means that it is not, you can apply the different techniques that I will share with you, not only for this kind of design, maybe for your own design. If we are talking about dragons, fish bodies, and snakes, of course, or any other kind of creatures which have this kind of scales or skin texture. So the first choice, the first step, let's see, my favorite one is going to be the technique that I was using on any other streamings I was making before. You know, the making a tailable texture, then make a UV mapping of the mesh to apply the texture on the mesh through the noise maker. This is my favorite, but just for talking about different techniques, I will try to get the same result with another techniques. The first technique, we can call it sculpting technique. That means that we are going to sculpt the surface, but not manually with brushes. So we are going to create our own custom brush. I will start working with a plane. That flat plane, you can see it's like a piece of. Is it still a little high? Oh. Post in the comments. I'm seeing around 1 minute from the delay I'm having. So that means that in about 1 minute I will know if my latest adjustment for the music it is working. I'm sorry for that. So I will work on a plane. Let's make a polymesh. Let's subdivide it. So let me subdivide it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So we are having around 1 million polygon. So I'm gonna start painting a mask to start creating a single scale with symmetry on with a mask. We'll make trying to find a good shape for a scale. Control mask pen, so we can something like this. It's not necessary to be very precise. It sounds very loud. Oof. Again. Okay, let me see. Looks like now is something is going wrong, maybe with the streaming settings, because now I'm using the same setting as on my previous stream. Let me check on the that's the microphone. It's very good. I hear you talking. Maybe I will increase my mic. I'm gonna change my properties. Okay, let me check. Filters, noise suppression. Okay, and if I use another microphone. Let's see now. Okay, my mic is working right now. Okay, my mic is fine right now. Okay, so that means that you can hear my music with a soft background music. Okay. Okay, I will start working on the inverting the mask. I'm gonna put the gizmo here and I'm going to rotate it to start creating this kind of angle. So I am sculpting a scale. So I'm gonna apply a polish by feature. Yes, okay, perfect. Cool. So I'm gonna smooth the transition between the flat, something like this. And maybe with the move brush, maybe I can make a mask. Invert the mask, maybe just to forgive it a more three-dimensional shape, not very flat. Maybe yeah, something like this. I'm gonna pull out a little bit of this, and maybe with edge polish, maybe I can bend this a little bit, and maybe okay, something like this. Let's see how it works. Now it's time to go to alpha. Alpha from mesh, and you will get this floating window. So you click on frame, it is already framed. So ZBrush will grab the depth information from the canvas. So also you can move the mesh, so you can see, you can even each time you are changing the angles, you can see ZBrush updates the depth information. Also here you can change the map size. In this case, it's not going to be important because we are going to use this for sculpting. It's not going to be necessary to apply on any 3D render software. So maybe in that case would be important the map size, the size in pixels, but in this case it's not going to be important. So this is the alpha we just created. And now the trick or the cool thing about this process is where to apply the alpha we already created. Okay, can I hear you? And you guys have fun. Okay, I'm sorry for that, but looks like now it's working. Maybe it's check out your microphone. MF3D. He is loud and clear. Yeah, I think that now it should be working. So maybe before not. Maybe I was trying to tweak mainly the music, the background music. Even I have changed the music, and now it looks like it is working fine. You should listen to me, as Casey says, loud or clear at least. Okay. Okay, so once we have the alpha here, the important thing is the brush that we are about to use is the layer brush. You can with your BL, it's this one, layer brush, and then you attach the alpha we just created to this brush. And let's see, this is what you get if you change from the strokes to drag rectangle. I'm working on the so you will be able to start applying. Maybe it's gonna be necessary to change the angle. If you go to alpha and flip vertically, now it works better. And now maybe we can increase the intensity, so we will be able to start maybe more intensity, even more. So like this, so you can see we can start sculpting the scales on the body. So one scale. So in this case, this is a bit laborious. It will take time, but I think the result could be, or the process could be relaxing in terms of you can be focused on placing scales one by one. But that's the reason why I'm trying to explain to you 3 different methods. But here you can see the problem that we are having here. When you can, this is the good thing about this method, that you have 100% of control of the placement. So you can, and also you can use this drag dot. So let me turn off this. So you can control the scales. So you can put one scale, and the the subsequent or the next scale that you are placing, you can see you are sure that all of them are having the same size. Maybe with this you avoid to make the scale one scale bigger, another one smaller, but here you can see the problem that we are having. So if you try to attach one scale to the other, you should be very careful with the placement. If not, if you can start having these kind of issues. But we have a technique to, or we have a solution to avoid this. Hey Bobby, Ralph, welcome. It's great to see you here. Who can I contact me? I will share with you. Okay, I will share with you my link tree, so you can contact me on many social media places like ArtStation or Instagram or Facebook. I will share the link with you here. There you go. This is my link tree where you will find all of my links. I will talk to you about this one, the first one, which you go to my you use the link I already shared with you, my link tree link. So if you are clicking here, this is a master class that I will give at Berta's school the next week, Wednesday of next week, where I will be talking about the sculpting jewelry design with ZBrush and masterclass. You can enroll it because enrollment is open just in case you are interested on this class. And the week after the class, I mean, we are talking about the 4th of December. 1 week after, we are talking about the 11th. I think it will start maybe the 12th of December. New course inverted will start about the sculpting jewelry designs with ZBrush. The course will be of 6 weeks of duration with pre-recorded exercises and mentorships. Just in case you are interested, just check it out. So you will find on the first button of my link tree, you will find all the information, and if you are interested, I will do there. Let me know if you have any question about this. Okay, you can enroll it. Now enrollments are open. The price is very affordable, I think, for $49. So 2 hours masterclass talking about the sculpting design or with ZBrush. I'm trying to make a presentation of the next course of 6 weeks. So let me close this and put this in the side. And I was talking about this. I was talking about this process. So the problem that we were having is that when you start attaching the different, also it's a bit complicated to use because the placement attends to the normals. So that's the reason why if we change here, you can see how we can do go floating the, it's like we can follow the contour of the surface, and sometimes it's a bit difficult to place. Maybe you prefer to use this one, this process where you can maybe have more control when you are not 100% sure that all of them are having the same size, but placing them carefully, maybe you can be sure that, or you can be adjusting the scale sizes depending on the part of the body. So maybe sometimes it could be a problem, but in other cases it could be an advantage. In this case, we can be adapting the scale sizes. For example, deciding that this row of a scale should be bigger than the other, so we can have this control this with this technique, placing the scales one by one. But we are still having the problem that we were having before because we are overlapping the strokes. The way that we can avoid this is storing the morph target. Remember that it's very important to use the layer brush. Don't try this technique with other brush or the standard or any other brush. You should use the layer brush, but if you store the morph target, you can start placing the scales. As you can see now, the problem that I was having before now doesn't exist. So you can see here how you can So with this technique, you can see here how you can start stacking or placing all the scales at once. And it's very easy to start blending when one scale starts and when the other ends. So you can see it here. This will take a bit of time, but I think maybe your design will look more organical, because not all of the scales are going to have the same size as a real fish. So maybe they are not going to have the same size, but we will take a bit of time. But in this exercise, in this example, it is not a big surface to cover, so maybe it will take a bit of time, but not that much. And as I said before, it could be a relaxing time to be sculpting, listening good music, and maybe it could be it's a part of the process that you can relax, you can enjoy making these things like this by hand. Once you grab the basics, when you understand the process, maybe it will not take so much time, because you will be more experienced, and maybe you can see I will try to make it faster, going one by one. You can see here another one there, another one there, like this. You can see in combination layer brush and move target with a custom alpha, you can make this technique. And let's go in, let's keep putting scales, just trying to make the whole body, just for being able to compare the 3 different techniques, or maybe 2 techniques, because for not being here the whole streaming or too much time explaining the same thing, so I will cover the second technique with the UV mapping and with the tileable image, or even we can create a custom preset that it is already on the surface noise settings, that is for scales already exist on ZBrush. Maybe you can use that. So I will check how it works on this design. Maybe it will not work as I want, but we will try it. You can see here, and maybe I can, I don't like this one, but as we already record the move target, I can remove this one. This is another advantage of this process, where if you don't want, for example, you don't like one area, we already have the morph target saved or recorded on the memory, in the memory of the program, of the software, so we can remove scales that we don't want to use, or maybe we can repeat a row, or we can, I don't know, we can make adjustments if necessary. Maybe we can place here one, and maybe the last one will be here, or even we can play with intensity for making scales higher, one scale higher than others. We will get this. Can we use UV and noise to create these scales? Yes, AG San. Yes, I will share that technique now. So this is I'm trying to just show you or explain you 3 different techniques for creating this scales pattern. This is the first technique, so making the custom alpha using the layer brush in combination with the move target, so you will be able to start placing the scales one by one. And you have seen how simple it is blend the different rows and columns with this kind of patterns. So this is going to be the first technique. I'm going to create a copy of the body, so let's duplicate. I'm gonna grab the original. Let's go back from history. Let's leave it completely flat like this. This is the technique number 1. And I will use the technique number 2 that, as AJ says I will make this with UVs and surface noise. Right? So the first step is we are gonna start making our own custom tileable or seamless alpha image. So for that, you will need to use this plugin, NanoTile. NanoTile, where are you? NanoTile textures. This is plugin is going to be very useful for creating this kind of tileable seamless alphas. You can make it without this plugin, but the good thing about this plugin that we have some steps already automated, so the plugin will save us time in compare making it manually changing different settings inside of ZBrush. So you will be able to find this plugin in the plugin sections from the Pixologic or Maxon website. So it is a free plugin, so it's very easy to install, and there is no problem to find it and to install it. So just the settings with the default settings. Just be careful for having this button active, preview seamless mode. This button is very important to keep it active. I don't care about the bottom part of the plugin, because I only use of the whole plugin only 2 buttons. I think I changed this setting, plain divide resolution from 6 to 4, just for personal preferences. You can use 6 if you want, it's up to you. It doesn't affect the result, but I prefer to use 4 instead of 6, and just clicking here, change this from 6 to 4 and click here. So create new tileable tool. ZBrush will bring us this. Okay, I forgot to mention that it's better to turn this off to load example tile tool. If not, ZBrush will give you this kind of sample, but as we are looking for something completely different, so let me turn this off and now create a new tileable tool. Let me put this on the side. And this is what we got. So we have a plane or a template. This is a template with a plane. So if, for example, your canvas is smaller than the template, you can see now I am not seeing this green template completely. So now you can see it is cut on top at the bottom. Don't move it as usual when you are navigating with a 3D object. This is very important. So instead of try to zoom out or push the object, use the canvas controls that you have here. You can start zoom in or zoom out the canvas, not the object. So just like this. That's it. So next step is using the C modeler. You can see the C modeler is already selected because it is part of the plugin macro steps. And for making the scales, I will want to use a cylinder. So the ways to start creating the way to start placing the mesh that we want to use is with the C modeler already selected. In the middle of each of the polygons, spacebar, we are looking for to insert a nanomesh to all polygons. The action should be insert nanomesh and the target should be all polygons. And now the way that you have to select the mesh is pressing the M from your keyboard, and now you can here inside of the mesh selector, you can select the cylinder 3D. Now just click and drag, and now we have one mesh for each. This is the current normal way of working when you are using NanoMesh. So because you can see the name of the plugin is NanoTile, because the idea of the process is based on NanoMesh. So we should go to the NanoMesh settings, and now we can start playing with the different settings that we have here. on the nanomesh section. So we can start rotating. In this case should be 0. I'm looking for rotating in the X angle, 90 degrees. Maybe we can change the length. No, the length now is the width. Yeah, maybe the width or the height. The height, yeah, like that. In this case, make it more elliptical, like this. And the rotation, where I will change maybe 45 degrees. Not that much, maybe 25, maybe 15, better. Maybe something like this. And now, very important, when you are about to create a texture, like it has this kind of checkerboard or what that you have on with the scales, it's very important to change the value of the H tile to 2 and the V tile to 2 as well. And now change the pattern distribution here instead of grid. Change to checkered odd, so you will get this. So now from this point it's just a matter of start changing the size like this. Let me try. Now it's about to start changing maybe the different settings. Still fine like this. Maybe like this is good enough. Maybe if I change the angle, maybe more something, yeah, something like this, I think it's good enough. Maybe you can see now, you can see the facets on the cylinder, the way that you have to edit the mesh that you selected. You can click the edit mesh. Now your window, you can see the canvas now is split into 2 different parts. When you can see here on the right the mesh, and here how the mesh affects to the nanomesh distribution. Now what I'm gonna do, maybe I'm gonna subdivide it. Maybe I can try to with the smooth divide it. Maybe close holes first, and now divide and edit mesh, just for having this more rounded or even. We can edit mesh and subdivide it one more time like this. And now once you are happy with the results, with the settings that you are looking for, it's time. This is my personal preference. You can you can click here, create seamless maps, but I prefer to use this button that you find inside of alpha, transfer, and grab dock. And see, you can see now ZBrush grabs the depth information from the canvas, and you already have your fish scales. This is going to be the number 1. I'm gonna try to make it maybe wider, like this, and maybe smaller, maybe for having another kind of a different version. Maybe if I rotate it like this, maybe I can edit the mesh, and I try to change the shape a little bit, maybe more like this. No, maybe more like this, like this. This could be another version. Maybe the references, the scales are a bit wider. Let's see if I can still keep tweaking like this, and now make it smaller. 0.5, no, 0.45, 0.6, 0.55, 0.54, 0.53, more or less like this. Maybe 0.535. Now better. So let's grab another version, grab, and now we can export the alpha we just created. So export, and this is going to be the ZBrush scales number 2. ZBrush will save this file in PSD format, and in this case maybe I can, this is going to be another version. This is the number 2, this is the number 1. Okay, then come back to alpha, export, and this is going to be the ZBrush scales number 1, I'm sorry, number 1. Okay, now it's time to changing the canvas size again. Here you have a button, restore canvas size, and now you will get the, and now the way that the start grabbing the alpha we just created on the surface. The first step to take is start creating the UV map. So let me see if I already have polygroups. Not, I don't have polygroups, so I'm going to make a mask at the bottom. I think here. Control W. And now we need to go to create the UV map, the UV coordinates using the UV master, you know, work on clone, first step. Now we are not using symmetry, and now ungrab. You can flatten, and this is the way that the reason why you're having this kind of jagged border. It is not important because this border is not going to be visible, but it's because we make the polygroups based on the mask. So the mask was grabbing different portions of different polygons. That's the reason why I'm watching this like this way. It is more important the orientation in this case. I'm gonna make it horizontal like this, and we can now copy the UVs, and now we can paste the UVs on the original. The original is this one. Now paste the UVs, and now it's time to apply the noise or the alpha on the surface. Going to surface noise, surface noise, clicking on the left bottom corner, so you can select. Let's start with the number 2. So once you have the alpha loaded, I prefer to work with color, so I change from white to black. You can see now the alpha starts here, there. So I don't want to use any extra noise, so I set up this to 0, and we can change the alpha scale. Now it's very important. Now we already have UV coordinates changed from 3D to UVs, and now this is what we get. So you can see the orientation is not okay. Well, you should go back to the clone again, clicking on the clone here, flatten, and maybe we should change the orientation of the UVs 90 degrees. Unflatten again, copy the UVs again, coming back and paste the UVs. Now the orientation is wrong again because it should be facing the opposite. So we can flatten again. Now we can 180 degrees, unflatten, copy, and paste. Now it's okay. I think the scale, the scale of the scales, the size of the scales, I think it's good. So once you have this, don't forget to, I already have the morph target already stored, but don't forget to extort your morph target before start making any deformation of the surface. So we can convert the noise into a mask, so that's my noise. And now we can, in this case, apply a negative inflation like this. And we will get the scales all around the body. So the way that we can erase or remove the scales on the face, on the head, you can see the reference. It's as we recorded the morph target before, so using the morph brush, we will be able to remove the unwanted and also fading, creating a transition between the scales, the body with the scales and the flat surface of the, or even, for example, we can erase this one and change and making things like this. Maybe it's, we can remove this. Maybe we can grab one more. Here, this one, I can remove this one, and the same here. And this is the second technique. As I said before, this is my favorite. This is the technique that I prefer. Maybe it takes a bit more time. The tech that we were placing the scales one by one using an alpha with a brush, compare with the time that we need to create the UVs, select the right orientation and so on. Maybe at the end we will be wasting the same amount of time, but at the end it's going to be okay. So we can polish a little bit, and maybe we're having here a kind of, okay, this is because the resolution of the mesh, but I don't very worried about this. I can start smoothing this. In terms of 3D printing, this is not going to be a big issue. Also, you can polish everything. Maybe it's too aggressive, and you can keep smoothing this till getting a smoother surface. But you can see at the original size is going to be even not visible. Just in case if you are thinking about making a render, maybe it could be important, but or through 3D printing reasons or casting reason in such kind of I already have the scale pattern applied at the bottom, so I'm gonna remove it with a mask, for example. We don't have to be so carefully as before, so using this the morph target brush, you can remove the scales at the bottom. It is not important because we are just, you can see the bottom part of the face is hidden by the background, but okay, I think like this is going to be enough. Let me check your comments because I missed okay. Thank you for sharing your own knowledge. Thank you very much for being here, Lennon. I'm glad to finally catch my live. Yeah, I try to make one live for every month. Most of the time from the middle of the month until the end of the month, around those dates. Where do I get a copy of Nano texture tiles? I will find for you. If you have ZBrush 2021, doesn't matter because I think it should work for, let me save the file first. If you go to Google and click here, this is ZBrush, for example, ZBrush plugins. Click here. Okay, allow. So you start scrolling, you will find here the official, or the, maybe we can say the plugins which are still available for the latest versions of ZBrush, and then you will find it here. So it's downloaded, and I think that you already know the way of installation. So this is very easy to find and easy to install, and believe me, this is a very useful plugin for making this kind of textures that I did, but also for exporting different ways, different kind of maps like albedo, ambient occlusion, normals, and so on. So it's a very interesting and useful plugins to install. I'm not sure best version. My version, I don't know which version it's mine. Let me check. My version is, I don't know where I can. Here the version doesn't appear. Let me check in my folders. If I go to my C drive, and where ZBrush is styled, program files, Maxon 2024, startup, plugins, NanoTile, texture plugins, NanoTile, texture, version. My version is 7.1. It is from 30th of November of 2021. This is my version. The latest version available on at the website. I don't know which one it is, but it should work for your 2021 version or 2022 version or 2023. I'm using this plugin since maybe 5 versions or 6 versions ago. It should work. Okay. Okay, thanks. Affix. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I guess Affix or something similar. So let's repeat just to repeat the same process again on the tail. Maybe repeating the tail. What you can do, if you want to, for example, you don't like the way it looks here, you can see that's the reason why when you are flating the mesh border looks like this, completely jagged. You can see here, if we go to the flatten, you can see here how weird is the border. If you want to avoid this, or you prefer to work with a cleaner method, what you can do is this pattern. So we can, for example, I'm gonna apply the same. Of course, you can create a topology mask instead of, as I did, grabbing this. When you are grabbing random polygons, of course you can go to the lowest subdivision, for example, like this, and now you can try to grab. You can use the C modular, or for example, you can, with the select lasso, you can start selecting something like this, Control W, something like this. I am checking that I am selecting the right face of the tail. Okay, yeah, it is okay. Okay, what you can do now, once you have the polygroups, for example, you can use the smooth groups, so you can smoothing the border between the two polygroups, and now you can apply a series measure now, keeping the groups. Maybe you are looking for the same amount, so you will get a cleaner cut between the two different polygroups. Now from here, now you can start subdividing them. It's a matter of topology. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Maybe 6 times. I'm here around 500,000. Maybe I think maybe it's gonna be enough if I divide one more time. Maybe almost reaching 2 millions for such a small piece of the design, in my opinion, hasn't too much sense. So I prefer to stay with a lighter version of the mesh. So now from here, work on clone, ungrab, flatten, and maybe we can select the placement. If you don't want to be going from the clone to the original, from the original to the clone, making adjustments, maybe before copying the UVs and pasting them to the on the original, you can make a test on the clone. So using the noise, or even better, what I'm gonna do is I will come back to the original, to the body, and now this is going to noise. Okay, you can see the noise is still there. I can click on edit and I can save this noise. You will save a CNM noisemaker file, so you will be able to apply this noise to any other mesh. So it's not going to be necessary to import the alpha again to select the right size. So all the information will be recorded on this file that you are about to save as CNM format. So noise maker scales. Okay. So I come back to the clone again. Now go again to noise, and now we can open. You can see the file I just created. This one, this noise maker file, and this is what you get. You can see now the orientation is growing again. The orientation is growing, so now you can flatten, and now you can change 90 degrees this way, and now it works. Once you are happy with the orientation, now you can copy the information from the clone and go back to the original. Select, don't forget to select the right subtool. In this case is this one, and paste the UVs. And now you are not pasting the noise and the UVs, you are just pasting, copying and pasting the UVs information. So you should go again to the noise and load again your surface noise. You can see now the scales haven't got the right proportion, maybe 0.45. The scales on the tail should be a little bit smaller, but not that much. For example, here what we can do, we can improve. You can see now the orientation of the scales is this orientation, and maybe the right orientation should be a little bit angle, a little bit more like this. They should be change the angle to the right a little bit. So for tweak this, we should come back to the clone, flatten again, and maybe change a little bit the angle. And now you can see, now you can start changing the angle. Now you can see now that the scales now are better, has a better orientation compared with the tail position. Now we can copy the new UVs and paste, and then you can see how they change the orientation. Maybe a little bit more, flatten, a little bit more, and flatten, copy UVs again, paste UVs like this. And now it's time to repeat the same thing. Don't forget to store the morph target before apply any noise. Mask by noise, gizmo, control, and now you can make this. And now you can use the morph target. Maybe we can reduce the intensity just for fading, for getting a good fading between, or no, I think it's not a good idea. So maybe leave the intensity where it was, and maybe we can what I can do, maybe it's gonna be a better idea, for example, if I adjust it manually like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a mask here, trying to grab this, and maybe grow the mask, invert the mask. The mask needs to be a little bit better, like this. And now we can move with the move brush, we can push in this scales that we don't want to see. So now changing the placement of the tail, it will be the result or the finishing that we are looking for. So maybe like this and like this. I think it looks nice. Okay, There you go. So let's save this. Wouldn't a polish by groups clean that up? Yes, you can use that process. Yes, because the result is the same than using the smooth groups brush. The result is going to be the same. The good thing about using the smooth groups instead of polish by groups is that you are just polishing locally. So you are just polishing the line between the two different polygroups. If you apply polish by group, you will apply a global polishing to the whole mesh. Maybe you can destroy any detail or any shapes that you were sculpting before. So I prefer to use, maybe in this case, smooth groups, because it's much more precise, smoothing the border between the two polygroups. I'm sure you can do that, but I guess if you want more control, you use brush. Yes, exactly. More control in terms of you are not polishing parts that you don't want to polish. So you are just focused on the surface that needs to be polished. So you are not applying a global polishing. Right. Okay, so next step to take. That makes sense. Okay, perfect. Thanks for your question, Chris. Okay, let's start sculpting on the head. For example, here, this is the, I don't know how to say this in English, this part of the typical, where the fish's breath. Maybe I need more polygons here. I need more polygons. Where I am, yep, divide. Maybe with H polish we can start a flat surface with more crisp. Like this, and the same here. Maybe here we can start sculpting this and sculpting this. You can see here I keep separated as an individual subtool this part from the head. It gives me more control when I am sculpting forms. Instead of trying to sculpt the form from the same surface, I prefer to split the head into different parts, as the jaw, like here. So I'm able to have cleaner, more polished surfaces, and even better, I will keep the poly count much more reduced. Because if not, you want to get so a smooth surface with more complex forms, you will need more polygons. In some cases, it's better to split the form into different parts. So it will allow you to work with less polygons. Okay, so this is not going to be a very detailed, but it needs to, there are some subtle shapes that it has that it's nice to get them on the surface, because when we are designing, when we are sculpting a model, or which is going to be transformed into a metal piece. When we talk about jewelry, most of the times we are going to cast it in a precious metal or a bright metal or a metal. Doesn't matter the value or the cost of the metal, but we should be thinking about the way that the light reacts on the surface, so it's not the same getting a completely boring flat surface than a surface which has different planes or different textures where the light reacts with different forms. So we should think about that when we are creating jewelry, even more when we are creating organic jewelry, that we are doing this kind of more organical designs. Like this. Yeah, it's not going to be necessary to this. Okay, we can start subdividing the mesh. For example, here having more this kind of elliptical shape compared with the round eye will give us more the sense of perspective. So just tweaking, maybe leaving less amount of material here than here. Now it's working with the perspective of the head, and even it will give to the person in charge of the stone setting, will give him more metal to work with when he is cutting the metal to put the stone inside. So this kind of small details are important when we are creating jewelry on a digital environment. So we should consider this kind of details, manufacturing details, or for example, we can call them like this. Maybe the background, I'm gonna lift up a little bit to hide a little bit more. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with the background, with the waves, or with this kind of wavy texture that the original has on the background, because we should think about the final size. As I said before, this original piece has the double size of the piece that we are sculpting, so we should consider that it is not possible to create the same stroke thicknesses from the original, because if not, they will be lost on the casted piece. So that's the reason why maybe we should think about a more simplified texture. Let's start working on the fin. So this, let's subdivide it 3 times. When I am subdividing a mesh, I'm always pay attention to the active points number. I always take a look, and when I am reaching 1 million, I stop. So that means, for example, if we need to sculpt a detailed surface, most of the time the question is how many times should I divide the mesh, or how many polygons do I need to work with. The answer is depends on the kind of thing that you are about to sculpt. But my one rule could be, when you are start subdividing the mesh, pay attention when you are reaching 1 million and stops and start sculpting on the surface. If the result is good enough, so keep there. And if even you need more details and better surface quality, maybe you can hit the divide button again. By considering my experience about the sculpting jewelry detail on the surface, maybe sculpting with more than 3 millions, in my opinion, hasn't too much sense. Maybe 5 millions as maximum, because as I was talking before, as I am splitting the design into many different parts, so maybe putting all of the subtools together, of course we are reaching 1,000 or 20 millions or 10 millions or even more. But working with individual subtools, maybe working with more than 5 millions, in my opinion, hasn't too much sense. My opinion. Trim dynamic, this is a very clean work. Thank you very much. I like the use of the noise tool. Do you ever? No, I don't like to use bas relief. I didn't find it useful in the commissions that I sculpt. When I need to create a relief, I prefer to sculpt it. We can call it manually or with the more traditional sculpting processes. By my opinion, it is not good for. I'm talking about for production or manufacturing, ready for being manufactured reliefs. When we are talking about digital objects or digital renders, it could be useful. But if we are talking about a relief that should be milled or 3D printed, I didn't find it useful. And Nacho, do I sell my design to jewelers? Yes, I do. Or do you have your own way of making your own at-home piece? No, I only work in digitally. So many cases and many times I have some friends which have different manufacturing methods like 3D printers or CNC machines. I like to send them some of my design just for checking that I am doing on the screen has sense in reality in terms of the sizes works, the weight works. The design that I am doing is not very problematic in terms of being manufactured and stuff like that. But I don't create or manufacture or produce my designs. My work is as a digital sculptor. So I send my design for 3D printing and for manufacturing just for learning about the manufacturing processes and has more knowledge about that could be applied on the designing process. For example, you need to know that the things that you are doing are maybe too detailed or too thin or too bold or too big for being wear and stuff like that. But I don't send them for being just for wearing them or for selling finished product or finished objects. But I sell my designs, my digital files. Yes. Yes, I have many. I have many physical version of my work at my home. I will show you one thing. Okay, let me show you one thing. Maybe the camera is a bit small, but you can see here. This is a hand where I have many of the all of the ring that you can see here on this hand, or even this pendant, or even are made by myself, as designed by myself. I send them for printing. This is kind of a skull ring and many other objects and pieces. This one's related to jewelry, another one related to figures or different stuff. I like that to send design for 3D printing, because this is the way that I have to check that what I'm doing on the screen works in the real world, in terms of, because for the people that I'm working for are jewelers or jewelry brands, and they want that the file that I'm sending to them, or the design or the object that I'm designing for them, will give them less problems as possible during the manufacturing processes. So, and the only way that you have to control this is to start printing and testing your work. And it's good to have friends which has 3D printers and different machines, manufacturing machines, so they can test my work. Or I can send them as a gift, or just for them send them to me as a copy. Yeah, they are too small. Yeah. For example, you have here. You go to my. I will show you one more thing. You will come back again to my link tree. You go to my website. You are in my website, and you go to galleries, and you click on cam and casting. You will see here many of my designs already made. So 3D printing pictures, picture from 3D printing, 3D printed objects from different 3D printers, the finished products casted in different metals, gold, silver. You hear all of the stuff that you are watching here. For example, I made this on another streaming, and here we have. Here you can see the size of this brooch, and you will find here many other, much more. This is the one that I already shown you. This is this one. This one is this one. This is called metal with it's called silver ring with red enamel, and many others. So you can take a look at my website. I get down a wooden hat. Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice to have a physical version of your work. Maybe here I'm gonna show you something cool. For example, like here, I made this. Let me find. Oh, I have so many so many folders. Okay, you have this this panther. I made this sculpture I made just for fun. It is based on a very well-known sculptor. The name is Rembrandt Bugatti, like the car, and he made many sculptures about animals with this kind of loose strokes, clay strokes. They were them cast in bronze, and I sent this for 3D printing, and this is what I have. This is what I have here. This you can see, this is the copy of the same model I just shown you. But this is like 20 centimeters tall, a little bit more. Yes, it is very satisfying to see, to grab in your hand one thing that you were creating from zero, from nothing, on a computer, on a screen. So it exists in the real world. So this is very satisfying, and also from the, as I was explaining before, from a professional point of view, is good to send things for printing, just for checking that what you are doing on the screen works in the real world, because you can see, you just start having the feeling that all the details looks like on a surface, depending on the kind of material that you are using for 3D printing. The kind of printer, most of the time, is very important. how precise is the 3D printer, and so on. Actually, I see his photos, if any at all. Sometimes the jewelers are like, ah, I forgot to make a teaching photo. Yeah, you are right. There's, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, you are right. So, and this is another bad part of this job. For example, but maybe I can say 90% of the job that I am doing, I'm not able to post or to show because they should be secret or something. But when you request a picture to a client, oh, could you send me a client of the final product that you don't care, so because I want to see how it looks like in reality. And even more today, where everybody have a mobile with the camera, with the cameras from on the mobile, most of the time are crap. So the photos that they sent you, they are garbage. So there you can appreciate the level of details. But this is normal. Normally happens. And NDAs are annoying. Yeah, NDAs is Galileo Einstein. Yeah, but you should keep in mind that the Rembrandt Bugatti, it's a name that it was in the 18th century. It's a very, it's a very old. He was living in another century. Maybe in that century, the name Bugatti was not so connected as today with a car brand. Galileo Einstein. Yeah, it's could be a good name. So I will show you here, for example, here you can see in the fin. You can see the fin has this kind of stripes or lines texture. Maybe you can find interesting to use. Maybe you already know it, but don't forget that you have this option, interpolate, and maybe for this it could be very useful. Keep in mind that you should select a good camera angle before starting using this technique. For example, I'm going to use I'm going to use which brush? Maybe the Art Cracks. This is a very well-known brush when you are able to create this, where you can apply one stroke, another stroke, and you can interpolate different strokes between each one. In this case, it's not going to be a good idea. Maybe this could be the first. Maybe it could be the second, and now interpolate the strokes. And now maybe you can adjust the stroke. Here you can control the strokes amount, the strokes count, maybe 15 instead of 10. So you will get this very fast. So maybe we can now apply one here, another one here. Maybe now 15 is going to be too much, maybe 8. Yes. And maybe the only trick here is that you should take first an angle of the object, which should be as more perpendicular as possible to the camera. So don't try to make the strokes in this with using this angle. They should be as more looking more to the front as possible. And you can see here it's fast to make this kind of technique. Maybe we can because this is going to be very tiny, so when the only thing that I'm looking for is to get that kind of noisy surface as the original. It's not going to be so precise and so defined as the original, but we will not have a flat surface. We will have kind of ridges or lines, kind of texture on the surface. Even more after polish it, we will lose many of them, but the main goal here is having a non-flat surface, just breaking the surface. And also what I can do here, just for fading the strokes on the surface, we can use the smooth valleys, start smoothing the endings. And make them a little bit less visible. Like this. And maybe with the clay brush. You can see something. Sometimes this happens when you are having this problem. Okay, it's not really a problem. This is because I don't know why yet, but if you go to brush and you go to the curve, you can see now for any reason the grab mode now it activated to 1. It should be in 0. So now it looks like it works. And now here we are having this. Okay, let's make this, and now let's work on the fin on the tail. The tail has something similar with we can try to use the same technique. Just select first your camera angle. Maybe I can start flattening the surface. Same brush. Maybe the stroke number 1, maybe a little bit. I need more polygons. Control D. And this is number 1, and this is the number 2. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it's good enough. So, but what I can do is to avoid the stroke which are going too farther, like this one, for example. If I click here, try to avoid this issues that I have here, these problems. If I store the morph target first, maybe let 12 like this, and now with the morph targets we can remove the ones that doesn't work. Morph target is a very cool and very useful technique to use in many cases. Like this. Maybe I can apply the texture here as well. Let's select this angle and stroke number 1. Not that much, maybe 6, maybe 4. Okay, like this. Maybe with the smooth valleys I can fading the endings. Maybe have this kind of thing. Maybe the water or the background should be more here. Okay, where? Rembrandt Bugatti, a rapper's name? Really? Well, yeah, maybe it's for the name, because it's a combination of Rembrandt, because we have in mind the name of Rembrandt applied to a famous painter. Bugatti of a car. Maybe it looks like a blend of 2 random names, but yeah, it's curious. It's curious. Perhaps grab mode is like no, because this is the first time that I used the clay brush. I don't know. I have noticed that in some cases when I start using a brush, for any reason the grab mode is activated. I don't know why. I don't know why. The way of creating the clay-like texture, the clay brush. The clay brush, I will show you the way it here. This is the decimated. This is the model. I think, let me see if this one is the original mesh. Because now here, you can see here, this one is already decimated. Let me find the original one. I have lost it again. I want to try to find the original file. This one. Is this one? You can see here. This is the okay. This is the here you have the different steps. This is the blocking. This is the smooth version of the surface, and here you have more this kind of clay looking. So you have different ways to achieve this. For example, if there are many ways, and also there exist pre-made brushes which you are able to just to stamp the texture directly on the surface. But these were made completely by hand with the clay brush, with the BC brush, with the clay brush. Just adding and removing material. You can play with the focal shift. Very important, the focal shift in this case. You can see here now the feeling that you're having here. So it's like you are making strokes, very random. This is the thing that I love of creating this texture, because you are not worried about how beautiful it looks like. You are just adding or removing material, and in combination with the edge polish. So you're gonna start now. It's like working with real clay. When you are using a tool, you are removing or you are putting material, and when you already have the material on the surface, you start using your wet hands. You put your hands in water, and with your wet hands, you start blending or removing the marks or the imperfection of the surface. But the result that the finish that you can have is using this brush, with edge polish brush, with this. And now you can start removing or making surfaces a little bit more flat, and but leaving another parts a little bit more textured. And one very interesting techniques for this is using the clay polish option. Clay polish. You go to clay polish. It is not noticeable, but when you click on clay polish, a little bit of mask is applied. You can see you can invert the mask, and now inverting the mask, what you can do is inflate it, and you will get this kind of thing. It's like you are even enhancing or adding even more texture to the previous sculpted surface. So using this process, or maybe you can apply now one kind of a bit of polishing, and you will get this thing. For example, if you start from a sphere, make a polymesh, Control D, till subdividing. You can start, for example, with the edge polish. You're gonna start making random strokes on the surface. Now you can go to clay polish, invert the mask, and inflate the mask, and you will get something like this. And now you can polish it, and you can start keep working. But you can see how the texture changes, because when you are using the clay polish recognizes different imperfections on the surface, and when the mask is applied, it's very useful to enhance or exaggerate the textures that you were making. For example, if you are using the clay build-up brush, this is up to you. Many brushes are useful, for example, with using different strokes like this, then edge polish, and then clay polish. You can drip, and you're gonna start getting this. Of course, this is maybe it's too exaggerated like this, but at this point you can start applying one polishing, and then keep working on it until getting the result that you are looking for. And also, I recommend to you, if you like this kind of textures, I recommend you go to Lightbox, go into your brush folder. This is a brush that comes by default with all of the ZBrush, and let me remember, it was in curves, tail, notch, mullet, groom, displays, scale, strike with. Let me, I'm not sure what it was. Clay. Okay, inside of the clay brushes, okay, you go again, go to your light box, go into the brush section. Inside of your clay section, subfolder, you will find these two brushes: is fracture, and how to pronounce it, fracture B and fracture C. For example, let's select this one. And this is the kind of texture that you can achieve with this brush. Is amazing. You can see. Maybe you can reduce the intensity a little bit more. This is the fracture number, the C, and the V. B is maybe the finishing is very similar, but you can see here what it looks like. Ooh, you can get, this is more rocky, but you apply a polishing and more polishing, and maybe you can the same process, clay polish, invert, and apply something like this. You will get even more interesting finishings. So there are many techniques for achieving this kind of looks like clay, hand sculpted clay finishing, right? Where's the fish? Here. Is there a way to do draft angles? Fu Staker Wilson, what do you mean? Is there a way to do draft angles on it in regular objects? I don't understand what you mean. Maybe for my English, I'm sorry. Draft angles. Let me check. Draft. I don't know. I don't understand. I'm not really sure what you mean with draft angles. Could you put an example? I just remember they had something that limit the height of how the strokes can go, so they don't stick out a certain amount. Yes, there are many ways to control the strokes. Being honest, I don't know where to achieve that, but inside of the brush settings, I think you will find that. Hideo Ojira, I studied character art for games, and I'm now freelancing in that and 3D printing my own jewelry. Oh, that's cool. How did you get into this type of jewelry design? And how did I get is, or do you mean how will you be able to get job commissions or orders for work orders for you? Or are you interested on how did I get into this industry? Okay, the answer to the first question is posting your job on the internet, trying to find the right places, or post your jewelry design. I mean, trying to find Facebook groups specialized on jewelry design, where most of the companies or jewelers looking for digital sculptors are watching what is posted. Yeah, how do I get jobs for jewelry? As I was saying right now, is try to start posting your designs or your jobs, or the kind of your jewelry designs or your jewelry sculptings in the right place. When we are talking about Facebook, as I was saying before, trying to find groups specialized on jewelry design. For example, in LinkedIn, trying to post your job on jewelry design groups. For example, if you are posting your jobs, your work in Instagram, try to check out what other hashtags are using the people who are already specialized on jewelry design. So try to copy the same hashtags, just trying to reach the same group of people interested on jewelry design, and that's it. There isn't any special trick, but keep posting and try to make your postings or your put your pictures on in the right place. Not, for example, it's good to, for example, to post your job in a general 3D group or 3D forum or 3D Discord channel, but you try to find better the place where more people are going to be interested on the specific thing that you are doing. Maybe you will get more success in terms. If not, maybe you will be part of a amount of different postings with characters, superheroes, monster creatures, and then a jewelry design will appear, but nobody will pay attention to it. So try to find the right place for posting, or at least try to be as more precise as possible. Okay, let's work on the fins. And how did I get to the history? By accident, because I'm a very old friend of mine gave me a contact of a jewelry workshop or maybe it was a mix of jewelry workshop and jewelry school, which was looking for a person or a guy specialized in organic jewelry designs, or having knowledge about ZBrush. In that time, I was just using ZBrush for creating monsters or creatures and stuff like that. Like, I think almost everybody is using ZBrush when they starts, and but it was enough just for catching the attention to the guy in charge of the school in the jewelry workshop, because you already have the skills or the feeling of sculpting organic forms or organic design. Maybe it's a matter of time to start learning the industry rules and apply to your design. So I started making jewelry designs, and I found the industry very interesting, very challenging. Mainly, I met many people which are today are still friends of mine, and like, I think maybe like everything in life, once you take your first step, it's a matter of keep walking and put passion and being as more professional as possible, and then the success or the good thing comes sooner or later. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Glad you like it, because I was trying them, but maybe the problem, okay, not the problem, but it's not a real problem, but my issue or my I don't know how to say it in English. Is like I'm not a designer, so I consider myself more like a professional working for jewelers or for people who are looking for a guy who is able to sculpt their designs. So I was learning from jewelry professionals in terms of trying to learn the specification necessary for creating a jewelry design, but I don't want to be a jewelry designer. I'm more used to work for another person or a group of person and is looking for on a specific job. So I always try to match the design that I receive as closer as possible to other person specifications. Of course, from my personal or personal point of view, or from my artistical point of view, in some cases I like to create my own design that I already making now today. But maybe my main goal is for being a professional to earn money, creating jewelry, working for others. I think maybe that's the reason why I never have the idea of creating my own brand or something like that. But I find the jewelry industry and the jewelry field very challenging, in terms of the bigger challenges are the manufacturing challenges. Keep in mind that jewelry design, it's an object which is manufactured through many different methods, and some of them are methods who have been used during ages. Today we can use a 3D printer, 3D tool like ZBrush, but at some point we will need to use the all methods to. So, and there are a lot of knowledge inside of this business. That's the reason why I find it very interesting and very challenging. 3DR has so many top at industry, man. Yeah, everyone is so focused on just gaming and film. Yes, exactly. I'm completely agree with you, Casey. But there are tons of art industry that I need 3D artists. Exactly. And this is one thing that I have been taking advantage for many years and even today, because of course I'm not a big fan of superheroes, some kind of stuff, but I am a big fan of like everybody, I think. Any of us has or have our own tastes about music and movies, and I'm a science fiction lover movies, but I prefer to keep focused on another kind of industries. But I love that most of the people are focused on creating superheroes or monsters or creatures, because I prefer to think about a completely different things. And maybe for that, maybe it could be another reason why I even today, after 10 years of working as a professional, I'm still receiving that kind of jobs or commission, because I'm not posting the same stuff that most of the people are posting when they are using ZBrush. But there are many different industries, many. Have you used that tool in ZBrush to manage brushes? I thought it was. No, I didn't use it before, because I'm a very simple user of ZBrush. I consider myself a simple user, because I'm just focused on this group of brushes. I don't care about any coming or new plugins or softwares. I prefer to keep as more natural as possible, respecting the traditional ways of sculpting, just with the tools that you already know. Of course, sometimes, or for example, when ZBrush, Pixologic, or now Maxon updates the software, sometimes you are having a new technique or a new tool which is very interesting in terms of, because they save time. So them it's interesting to learn it. But till there, I prefer to keep as more simple as possible. So I don't like to be very trying to find always trying to find complex ways to achieve different things. Because I started working with a computer few years ago. Maybe that's the reason why I don't care about this kind of computer aid way of working. And maybe that's the reason why I love to use ZBrush, because the feeling that I have is like I'm still working with clay than before, when I was creating dioramas or painting figures, scale figures with traditional methods, or sculpting my own figures. So maybe that's the reason why I felt in love with ZBrush when I found it. Casey Nacho is what? OG? What does it mean? I'm sorry, I don't follow you. The incursion of Nacho into dual in sculpting words as blessing. It's incredible. Yeah, well, already there are many artists specialized in the jewelry industry, but I don't know why. Well, I can figure out the reason, but I prefer to say I don't know why the jewelry industry is still a bit opaque or a bit dark in terms of a lot of brands or artists don't like to recognize that they are using digital tools, because maybe I understand, but the jewelry value as a product is very high when we talk about a jewelry product, but in terms of marketing or in terms of selling techniques, it's better to say that this brand is still using traditional techniques with very old, ancient people working with the traditional methods from the 18th century or something like that. But I know that they are using ZBrush and many other CAD softwares or 3D printing, CNC milling machines. But I don't know why the jewelry industry, it is not still open to the digital world in terms of posting jobs, or posting or artists posting their jobs making with ZBrush. I know, but that's the reality. And when you master them, you got the speed, so you won't need new tools. Yeah, that's the only reason why you need extra tools or extra workflows or processes is to speed up the process. And this is mainly it could be the main reason of working with a computer or make it working digitally, because there are many ways to improve your process or speed up your process. Maybe, and in terms of manufacturing, in terms of industry, it is very powerful, because this is the key for the companies, for the industry, to save money. But I don't care about, for example, any other 3D softwares or any other 3D tools, because I know what I do on the tools that I know, and I don't care about the others. And also, I have the feeling that I'm making things by hand with ZBrush. Still making the things by hand with ZBrush. You can do it fast. You way already. Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with you, Drothdo. Hideo Ujira, who just explained the entire process of how the jewelry is usually made after you finish it, the 3D file. How does it become a finished piece? Yes, of course. Yeah, I had that situation that jeweler didn't want me to post my work. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, because he is all handmade. And it's very curious, for example, when you are visiting a website for a brand, when they are saying handmade jewelry, and you know that they are using digital tools, but okay, but we can say that even you are using a digital tool like a ZBrush or a CAD software, you are using the tool, so you can say you are making things by hand. So the people who is in charge of using the computer or the software needs to have the knowledge about the jewelry that he is designing. But maybe we can say it's not 100% true, but we can consider that it's almost true. Almost true. Okay, let me about Hideo Gojira, let me find one explanation that I have here. Let me find okay, only 5 minutes left, but I will save this first. let me, because I already made an illustration or an explanation about the process for creating a jewelry. Or even more, you can go to YouTube. There are many explanations from jewelers explaining the process. Okay, it will take more time to find the file that I'm thinking about, so I will give you a link inside of YouTube. If you go to, this is a big distributor in the United States. I recommend to you this place or this YouTube channel. This is a retailer and distributor of jewelry tools. There are many, even included software, different softwares. And for example, if you go to videos, list, and you have some of them which explains to you the whole process. For example, here, navigating the ZBrush interface for jewelry. I don't care about this. And where you can see the whole process. No, this is for 3D jewelry manufacturing. This is the feature. How to design parametrical jewelry. I'm thinking about one video that I have seen, I saw a time ago. Okay, here, this one. From design to cast, 3D manufacturing. He is explaining to you from digital file from ZBrush, for example, when you are about to 3D print it. Here in this part, you can use many different techniques, or well, many different 3D printers, depending on the 3D printers and mainly the material that the 3D printer uses. Maybe the process could change, but okay, we can be talking about general concepts, not I mean that this is not 100% necessary to be always the same, so there are many other processes or possibilities. So once you have the object, so you will start building your tree. The tree is called this piece. Then you will cover this surface with a cylinder. I don't know where we can. Okay, it's like make a negative. Okay, you will see here the whole process till getting the metal part. So this could be very interesting for you. If you go to the Rio Grande jewelry YouTube channel and looking for the title of From Design to Cast 3D Manufacturing, you will find all of the answers of your question. You are, yes, yeah. Hideo, I always say my jewelry is handmade. Yeah, we can say that it's handmade, but maybe we can define first the concept about what do you want to say when you are saying handmade. So are you using a digital tool or are you using a hardware or physical tools? So you are just using your knowledge, your skills to create something. Doesn't matter, in my opinion, doesn't matter that you are using a digital tool or you are using a tool, a physical tool. Because even if we talk about jewelry, at some point we should use physical tools. You can make only a very tiny part of the process digitally, so the designing process and maybe the sculpting process, but the rest of the whole process are made by traditional handmade techniques. But we can say 70% handmade jewelry, maybe. And we use our hands, right? You are right here. You are right. Yes, you are using hand. Even more if we are using a digital tool like ZBrush, when we are using a digital pen, it's like painting or sculpting by hand in with a physical object. So we are using almost the same thing, even when we are talking about ZBrush. With ZBrush, we need uh, artistical skills. So we are not pushing buttons and telling to the software what we want to do. We need to create it by ourselves. And sometimes you see the handmade mark is someone's view and then see that they're doing the pieces. Yeah, that you already saw a million times in different accounts. Yeah, you are right. You are right. That's very common. It's very common, but okay. There we are getting into persons. So depending on the person, maybe the person are watching things completely different than other person. But yeah, I know what you mean, and I know. But it's very often to see that he uses. Yeah, you can say the 3D models are also handmade. Yeah, they are made by hand by a person. Maybe in the future, when we are talking today a lot about the EI, maybe in the future we can say it is not made by hand because it is going to be completely made by a machine with EA and intelligence. But today we can say made by hand, or we can say even more. We can say made by a person, not for a computer or for an EA intelligent. Today already having a hard time and it is hardly knocking at the door for 3D. Yes, it is starting knocking at the door for 3D, but I think in my opinion, for the people like us who are involved in with physical products, maybe the EI is not going to AI is not going to take the whole business. So we will be in the future maybe in charge of less part of the process, but the AI will not stole the whole the jobs from us. It's hand designed and then 3D printed. Yeah, and even if you are 3D printed, for example, if we are talking about jewelry, you can 3D print it. Is 100% printed or created by a machine, but at some point when you have in your hands with the raw silver or gold piece, then the handmade work starts. So okay, it's a matter of a concept, but it's a matter of concept. It is horrible that ZBrush made its subscription, right? But making us work on instead of being a fool. Okay. Made by human will be the new organic level. Yes. Yeah, in the future will be like this, I think it will be made by human or made by humans. Or for this design, humans have been involved in the creation process or something like this, like a very small uh, part of the value of the product. Okay, I think we are done for today. I think in my free time I will try to finish this because I will love to make a render I posted, and maybe for the part that I haven't got the time to explain, I will try to make a working process image about the hollowing process and stuff like this. But I think the main idea is so almost covered already, but I will be here next month. I don't know when because I'm still thinking about the date, and we'll be here. We'll start thinking about the next design. I don't know. Haven't got nothing special in mind, and thanks to all of you, and thanks Stream Dynamic for being here during the whole streaming. It's had been fun to be talking with you, discussing things about jewelry, about ZBrush. This is what the reason why I'm here streaming, because I love the interaction with you. So I learn from you, and I hope you are learning from me. So this is the objective of this streaming. So I will be here, as I said, next month. Till there, I hope everything will doing well, and we'll see you in the future. Thank you, everybody.